Hey bitches, welcome back to my channel. It is currently 1:58 p.m. on January 7th, and if you guys thought that we were gonna have a slow start to the year when it comes to beauty guru drama, I thought so too, because 2022 honestly was really freaking boring. I didn't even watch mini drama videos. I didn't care what was going on with people because it was so freaking stale. It was like tits on an ant with majority of everything. But I really feel like as we got towards the end of 2022, like when we were like right at the threshold of December 31st, going into January 1st, 2023 right here, all of the beauty gurus were like, we need to get people talking. Like our sales might be down. We need to start to boost things. So then you have Jaclyn insert herself, you have Mikayla insert herself, and of course you have Manny over there trying to agree with what James Charles is doing. I'm gonna talk briefly about this new James Charles development because I really want to talk about Mikayla and how she tried to call out Rich and she tried to throw sobriety out there as, in my opinion, a crutch. Because if you talk about someone's sobriety or after someone says, don't talk about me because I'm going on this sober journey, you'll really look like an asshole. Well, hi. Asshole here. But as you guys know, yesterday James Charles was getting called out by another straight man, you guys. It seems that James will never learn, even though he put out that apology video, his taking accountability where he let everyone know that he was desperate.
And I finally came to a conclusion. It sucks and it is ridiculously embarrassing to admit this, but I think I have to, and that is that I'm desperate.
Where he brought up how he's into straight men and then he went into the other things that he has been accused of before as well. It seems that James Charles has made an admission, in my opinion, over on his Twitter. And I don't know if maybe he didn't read this full tweet, which in the beginning of the tweet is the really bad part. So I would hope that he would have read that. So maybe in his mind, he's like, okay, let me like it. There are literally people over on Twitter right now like riding so hard for James Charles in this situation with this straight man, saying like, if you guys continue this conversation, it's supporting anti-gay stereotypes. James is the anti-gay stereotype. The stereotype that people are talking about is that gay men try to turn heterosexual men gay and they try to come on to them and all that. That's literally what James Charles is doing. So miss me with the anti-gay stereotype bullshit, because he literally is the walking definition of it. And if you don't see it that way, read up on it. So y'all, this is just too good. This is too funny. The fact that he actually liked this, and I did double check this to make sure it was actually under James Charles likes and this wasn't photoshopped. Somebody with the name A Natural Disaster, and I'm gonna let you know, bitch, you are a natural disaster for thinking that this even made sense. It has 141,000 views on Twitter, 3,700, almost 3,800 likes. So there's, I'm just gonna have to imagine that the people that are liking this probably would agree that that whole map, you know, maps, y'all, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. You guys would probably try to say that those are real people because they have fifis. So this person said, okay, so here's the thing. James has been predatory to young people in the past, but this is not an example. If you have to start a sentence with so-and-so has been predatory to young people, to minors in the past, there's a problem. There's a problem. There's no rehabilitation for that, in my opinion. Thank you very much. This man was going back and forth with James, taking pictures of secret conversations, knowing he was gonna expose it. So him exposing it makes it bad. So if that man didn't come forward and show once again what James Charles was up to, even though James has already released an apology video taking ownership for those things, saying it's dangerous, saying that he was desperate, all of that, it should just be slipped under the rug. All those minors that James was in DMs with, that should just slipped under the rug. Just swept under the rug. We should investigate you too, bitch. It's just so crazy to me that people are really defending James Charles in this situation. Do I think that everything that James Charles does is wrong? No, I don't. If he was talking to a bisexual person, if he was talking to a gay person, nobody would be having this conversation. Nobody cares that James Charles slides into DMs and tries to find a boyfriend. The issue is the kind of people that he's sliding into the DMs with. If someone says that they are straight, you do not try to coerce them into, well, are you sure? Have you not tried it? I have a $10 million home. It's so funny to me when all of these influencers out here will say like, I can't find somebody who wants to be with me for me. They just want the money. They just want the fame. Well, when you're having the conversation, the first thing you say to them is, you could come live in this $10 million house. It's lucrative. It's just crazy to me, and to be expected from certain individuals like Manny MUA for taking James' side in this. It's very alarming, the people that never spoke up about James and his predatory actions. Very alarming, very telling. Moving on from James Charles and his problematic behavior, because I'm sure we'll be back here within like a month or a week or a few days even, maybe an hour, I don't know, to talk about him once again, because there seems to always be some kind of update going on. But I wanted to sit down and I wanted to give my opinion on the whole Mikayla Nogueira going after Rich Lux because he made a video about her fiance Cody's ex-girlfriend making a video about Cody and how they used to date, which in my opinion, girl, to be expected. She literally was dating a nobody, and all of a sudden the nobody is with this TikTok star that has like, what, 13, 14 million people? You're shocked? You're shocked that she made a video saying that she was his ex-girlfriend? I have to admit, I was a little taken aback by Mikayla's approach to calling Rich out. Rich and I are no longer friends like that, but when I see bullshit, I'm gonna call bullshit out. She has been following Rich for a very long time over on Instagram, so she is fully aware that Rich beats things into a dead horse. I mean, we had the whole Travis Scott situation with Astroworld. We had Trisha Paytas when she was pregnant. There was weeks of videos there. It's how Rich does on his channel. Don't act surprised now, Mikayla, because you were okay with it until Cody got brought into the mix because his ex-girlfriend made a video. In my opinion, you came off very insecure in that video, and the reason that you were so mad at Rich is because you wanted to take a dig at this girl. Nobody knew that Cody was in a sobriety journey. And when I say nobody knew, it means nobody was talking about it. Because I remember back in August, it was either end of July or August of 2022, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, this video clip was uploaded to Mikayla's TikTok talking about Cody's sobriety. And Cody was sitting right there talking about it, which is a very, very important thing to say. A very important story to tell, because there's so many people out there that suffer with some kind of sobriety issue. You guys know that I've had my own. And so hearing stories like that for people is actually a very good thing. But Mikayla's trying to paint it out like drama channels, Rich Lux, they're making all these videos about Cody, putting him like front and center for everyone to see, and really made it seem, her and Jaclyn, which it seems like a team effort here, really tried to make it seem like drama channels talk about people's sobriety all of the time, and that is simply not the case. This story about Cody and his sobriety has been out since August. E! News literally did an article on the whole entire thing talking how great Mikayla was because she's supporting him in his journey, and that is great. But we're not gonna make it seem like people are dragging him because of his sobriety, okay, bitch? In my own personal opinion, Mikayla probably wanted to get at that girl that made that TikTok clip for a very, very long time. There was probably stuff before that TikTok clip that came out, because Mikayla seems like a very jealous individual, so the fact that Cody could have dated anyone before her is just probably like so crazy to her in her mind. But I think that Rich just made that possible for her in a much larger way. No one knew how they met. No one knew that they were in rehab together. Again, nobody was talking about Cody and his sobriety, and definitely nobody was talking about that girl having her own issues and having her own sobriety journey. You wanted to shame her in front of millions upon millions of people, and your little lackey over there, Jaclyn, because let's face it, Mikayla, you're the one that's in charge now. Jaclyn is suffering in the sale department, so she needs you. She needs to suck that ass until there's no more ass to suck. And trust me, I've seen that Manny has been messaging you too, and clearly, it's the same. Something else that I find comical about this whole Mikayla situation is that in her video to Rich, she made it a point to let everyone know that yes, sometimes Cody does appear on her content, and yes, sometimes he's there at the meet and greets, but he is not a social media influencer. He does not have any profiles. He is not on TikTok like that. I don't even know if he watches YouTube, girl. I don't know what he does, because apparently social media for him is just not allowed. So my question to Mikayla is, if all that's true, if Cody is not on anything, doesn't have any kind of profile, how does he know that Rich Lux made a TikTok responding to his ex-girlfriend, asking if she was going to expose some more things? How does Cody know that there are any videos that are being made about him, Mikayla, unless you are going and searching for them and then bringing that conversation up at the dinner table? To be completely honest, I think you saw an opportunity and you took it. You wanted to go after Rich for a very long time because, as I said before, yes, Rich does beat things into a pulp. So I understand your frustration. I understand your frustration in any regard. If people are making videos back to back to back to back to back about you, I get it. I'm not knocking you for having your feelings about that. I just think that you saw an opportunity to drag him and throw some shade at that girl and let everyone know that she is actually an addict and she has her own addiction issues and she had to go to rehab, and that's where they met. So of course they have all these things in common. I think you were a bitch for that. And to add on to that, that's not a healthy place to be. If every time somebody from your ex's past comes forward and says something and you want to drag them and throw shade at them and all that, girl, it's not that serious. It's not that deep. So in conclusion, I think it was very disgusting that Mikayla tried to use her fiance's sobriety in order to take a dig at Rich. I think it was also disgusting that she tried to use that sobriety in order to take a slight at another addict. somebody who else is in recovery. Nobody needed to know how Cody and that girl met. It could have been left at, that's his ex-girlfriend. Yes, they do know things about each other. They have some things in common. You didn't have to let everyone know that they were in rehab together. And while we're here talking about it, I think it's very disgusting that Jaclyn Hill tried to jump on the bandwagon of the sobriety train and tried to make it seem like she didn't contribute to her now deceased ex-husband's own issues. But then again, I wouldn't expect anything else from someone that gets online and literally calls their spouse a junkie.
John was a junkie. John was a junkie. John was a junkie. John was a junkie.